In this video, we'll be talking about variables. So I'll be showing you guys how to create variables and how to store data inside variables. So variables can store different types of data depending on what you say should be stored inside a certain variable. So for example, like if you initialize a variable to store integers, it will only store integers, which are integers. We all know what integers are. And then if you initialize a variable to store strings or chars, which are characters, it will only store that specific data. Okay, fine. Let's create a variable. First, if you're creating a variable, first you write what you want the variable to store. You write the data type that you want the variable to store. In our case, it will be an integer. So it could be a double, it could be a floating point, it could be a bool, an array, struct, or even a class. So yeah, you first write the data type that you want to be stored inside the variable. And then you follow by the name of the variable. So we want to store an integer inside our variable, and we'll just name our variable age. Cool. Now we have successfully named and initialized our variable to store an integer. Now we want to store an integer inside our variable. So we write the name of our variable and then equate it to whatever value that we want to be stored inside our variable. So in our case, let's just store 12. Okay, cool. Let's create another variable that will store a different data type. Okay, in this case, it will store a char. It will store a char, the variable that we're creating. And a char is a character. So it could be a number, it could be a letter, just a character, any character. So, and then we'll name it, what will we name it? We'll name it and. So the name of our character is and. Let me just put a capital letter A. It's and. And then now we want to store data inside our variable, which our variable in this case is and. So you rewrite the name of the variable and then equate it to whatever character that you want to put inside the variable. So whenever you're dealing with a char, you have to use this. And if you don't put these are not single quotation marks, I don't know what they are called. Whatever value that you pick, if you pick a number, for example, it will use the ASCII table. So if you want to put that exact value inside that variable, which stores char, just put these, and then now an M will be stored inside this and. Okay, cool. Now let's see if this was successfully stored by printing it out to the screen or to the console. Okay, cool. We'll just say cout. Okay, not a capital letter C. Cout age. And then let's end the line. And then cout and, which is our other variable. In this case, there's no need for us to end the line. Okay, cool. Let's just run the code and see if we're getting the desired results, of which we're expecting to get a 12 from the age variable, and we're expecting to get an M from this n variable that we created and stored M inside it. Let me run the code and see what we get. Okay, and this popped up. We have 12 in the first line, which this made that 12 to be there. And then we have M in the second line, of which means that our M was successfully stored in this end variable. Okay, cool. There are many other data types which you can initialize variables to. But Okay, let's just go with integers in a bit more detail. Oh, another way to also initialize a variable, you can initialize it in the same line while you set it equal to whatever data that you want to store in it. So this will just do the same thing. Okay, let me just move back and clear this and also remove this. Okay. Okay, cool. And as I was saying, that you can also initialize and set equal to within the same line. So this will just do the same thing. Rather than writing and equating underneath, you can just do the whole thing within the same line, which is quite efficient. Hey? Okay, cool. Now you can see the 12, it's here, means that this also initialized and equated the variable to 12. Okay, cool. You can also add numbers that are within variables. So we made age to be equal to 12. We can also make another variable. We can name it year and equate it to 12 also. And then just to make things a bit interesting, if you're still new to coding, you haven't seen this, you just say sum is equal to year plus age. Let me leave space here. And then here we'll just see out sum, because we want to see what exactly is stored in our sum. Let's run this code and see what we're going to get. Okay, wait, I forgot to. Okay, cool. We covered. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot to initialize my sum. Sum, which is an integer in our case again. Int sum. Cool. Let's run the code now. Hopefully we won't be getting any errors. Okay, cool. Now we can see that in our sum, the value 24 is stored. So what the sum did, it took the year value, which is 12, and it took the year and the age. And we know that in this variable year, we have 12. And in this variable age, we have another 12. So it added the two values which were stored in this variable and equated that final value to the sum. Now that's why when we printing out sum to the screen, we're getting a 24, which is 12 plus 12. Okay, cool. That's it for this video. See you in the next video. Please subscribe if you like the content, like the video, and also comment on what you'd like me to do on my next video and some improvements that I can make to this video. Thank you.